This video was brought to you by Noble Knight Games. More about them at the end of the video. Hey everybody, Kimberly here, and I'm excited to share with you a couple staples that have been in my house for so long. I have multiple copies and my originals still are in the German rule book. We had to print out the rules essentially because we have such ancient copies. But let me tell you, these games, despite their age, have lasted. They have just made it through time, and they are some of our favorite card games that we play. You guessed it. No Thanks and Take 5, or in our case, we have Sechs Nehmt, which, yes, this has the original German rules, but we have it printed out. And then 11 Nehmt, I forget what 11 is in German. I wish Lewis were here to tell me. But this one, I don't have the English rules, so I'll be talking more about Sechs Nehmt, which is Take 5. And then I also have all my copies of No Thanks. I have this No Thanks, I have this No Thanks, and I have this No Thanks. I have all of them, and I like No Thanks. We like No Thanks. We play No Thanks so much. I just got a play in at Board Game Geek convention this last year, and boy was it fun. It is fun always. So I'm going to tell you why these are essentially two staple card games, why I have so many copies of them, and how you can get your hands on these, because these are going to go to someone. They're going to go to you, because if you do not have these games, you need to have these games. You need to have No Thanks in your life. And you need to have Take 5. You need to have Sechs Nehmt, because these are just lovely card games. They are smart, they are simple, they are shareable, and they are fun, which I think has to be a part of any card game. So I want to start off with No Thanks. So what happens in No Thanks is that there are cards that are numbered in this deck, and in this brand new super cool juice copy, they are these massive cards. They're like those, tarot cards. So you have these cards in here, and they have just giant numbers on them. You're going to shuffle up all these cards. They are numbered 3 to 35, which means there are 33 cards in the deck. You're going to shuffle, 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 and then you're going to take out 9 randomly. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you're going to put those away. And you don't know what those are. And the whole point of this game is that you're going to go through this whole deck. You're going to set it right there in the center of the table. You're going to give players these little bidding chips. So these are just little guys that you're going to bid with. Everyone's going to get the same number. It is how many? Oh, based on player count. So 3 to 5 get 11, 6 players get 9, 7 players get 7. So you're going to have these bidding chips in your hand, and the very first player is going to turn over that card, and it's going to have a number. This is going to go out in the center. You're going to just leave it right there, and you're going to be the first to bid or pass. The game is so simple. You just say, no thanks, and you put a little chip on it from your hand that you keep in secret. You have to keep everything in your fist so no one can see how many chips you have to bid with. And then the play is going to pass to the left. The next player has the choice. Do I take the card with any chips on it? Or do I say, no thanks? And you just put a little chip on it and pass. And it's just going to keep going around the table until some player is forced to, because they have no more bidding chips, or they choose to take the card with the chips on it. So why do you not want to take the card? Well, every single card that you have in your player area is going to be negative points based on the number. So it could be minus 35 points. If it's the biggest card, it could be just minus 3 points. Every chip that you have in your hand is positive points. So it's really great if you can end the game in positive point land, but most of the time players don't, because it just gets riotous. Now there is a twist. If you take a card, let's say I end up taking 19, that's minus 19 points at the end of the game. But if I can get 20 or I can get 18, it's not going to add up. I simply put my cards in a run, and run could just be 2. So if I get 18, now I put 18 next to my 19, and I only have minus 18 points because the 19 is part of a sequence. If I get the 20 doesn't count, and I just count the 19. And you can have more and more cards in a run or a sequence, but we don't know what cards were taken out of the deck in the original 9. And so there is this play. Do I risk it? Do I take a high card hoping that other players don't want to take other high cards? Because if I take 35 and then an opponent takes 34, that's minus 35 to me, minus 34 to them. If I wait and kind of let it go around, which is the joy of no thanks. If you look at a card that you want and you just want to get more chips from people because you want to kind of bleed them dry and you want to push your luck, you say no thanks and you let it pass and go all the way around the table as everyone scowls at you. And then you take it, or maybe you let it go around the table again. It is a ton of fun. Now, the more players you have, the higher likelihood it is that players have the chance of not ever taking any cards ever. And that's something I've actually done before in a higher player count because there are more people who are either forced to take cards or choose to take cards. In a smaller player count, it's almost inevitable that you're going to be taking cards, but it is so fun, and I love the way your hand just gets all clammy, holding these little chips, and you're pulling them out, and you're like, ugh, and you like put your no thanks chip out. I love it. I think it's a great game. I think it's a perfect game, to be honest. It is so simple. You say no thanks, and you put your chip out. Essentially, you're saying, I don't want this. You're bidding to not take it. Or you take it, and you take everything on it, which gives you more bidding chips if there are some on there, but it also gives you that negative point, and then you start the next card, flip it over, do the same thing around. It has such lovely, lovely just play feel to it because it gives you a chance to actually look at each other and to talk and to have fun. It's just the lightest, most loveliest card game ever. And you always say no thanks every time you put a chip out. And so everyone's constantly saying the title of the game in the most appropriate way. I think it's probably the most brilliant title. And I love this new version that it comes in this big blue box. And so again, this one shrinked for you because I fortunately had my copy of this one and another one of this one and another one of this one. So I've got plenty of no thankses. And now I want you to have your own copy of no thanks. Okay, so now that I've gotten that all cleared up, I want to show you Take 5 because yet again, this is such a simple, fun, cool game that has a simultaneous selection, and then it's essentially like that programming. You're going to play it out and you're going to see how well you fared based on the assumptions that you have of the other players at the table. So in Take 5, or my Zex Nemt copy, I use bandies to keep all my cards together. So what you're going to do, oh, here's my German instructions at the bottom because obviously I'm not going to be able to read it. You've got these cards, and all these cards have these numbers, and they have these amount of bullheads on them. And you'll see on the back of the cards, you're going to have all these bullheads. And you are going to shuffle up this massive stack of cards. There are no repeats here. And then you are simply going to deal everybody 10 cards who's in the game. And then there are going to be 4 cards that are laid out as the kind of start areas. So let's say we have ours, we've got a 50, we've got a 25, we've got a 70, and we have an 11. So these are going to be essentially our 4 rows. Everyone's going to have their 10 cards. They're going to look at their cards, and they are simply going to pick one of them to play. And you put it face down in front of you, and then everybody at the same time is going to reveal their card. And the person with the lowest card number, starting at low down 1, is going to play first, and they're going to put their card out into one of these rows. Now, the rule here is you have to place it where your number is essentially higher than the number here, but it has to be the closest number higher to that one versus another row. So if I have the number 84, I have to put mine above the 70, even though it could theoretically fit on like above 11, 25, or 50 because it's the closest to going above 70. So it kind of prevents players from tanking rows. But that's it. That's all you do. You're going to put your cards out one at a time, lowest to highest, is making sure that everybody at the table places their card out, and they're going to put it in one of those particular rows or columns. Now, every row or column is only going to get 5 cards. So this 50 is only going to have the chance to have 5 cards before someone places the 6th card. And if the 6th card is placed because you have to or because you choose to, because your number is lower than any of the ones out here, then you are going to trigger that row. You're going to collect all the cards, put the card that you placed as the 6th card or the lowest card. You can't essentially put anything. Your card isn't higher than any of the most recently played card. You replace it, you put it up there at the top, and you take all of those as your negative bullhorn points. And you put that in your player area. There are 10 rounds, and it's you trying to figure out what card do I play from my hand that will essentially keep me from collecting one of these giant stacks of cards, and what order is everyone else going to play their card in, again executing that from lowest to highest once everyone has simultaneously selected and revealed their card for that particular round. I mean, it's just, again, so straightforward, so streamlined. When you see your card, you know exactly how many points it's worth. Just one head, that's a -1 point if you get stuck with it. Getting dealt a card that has 5 doesn't mean that you're going to get it. It just means you're going to have to play it down and then strategically avoid playing in that particular column of cards so that you don't take it. But it's all about playing it down. Take 5, you can have 5, but once you put that 6th one down, or you have to pick one to just collect because your card's too low, boom, you take that, and that's going to be your negative points. It's absolutely a riot. It goes 2 to 10 players. No Thanks goes 3 to 7. I mean, these games play so well with a large group of people, and they're replayable, they're fun. If you're playing these at a table anywhere in the world, people are going to come over and check out what you're playing because they have that appeal, they have that table presence, they have that fun. I mean, there's just so much excitement, the tension mounting every single turn someone goes by. There might be a time where you want to take the card with the chips on it and no thanks, and you're just waiting, just on the edge of your seat, hoping nobody else takes the card before it gets to you. And then when someone does, you blow your top. It's hilarious. It's so fun. And then take 5, you have that simultaneously reveal, and you're just frantically searching the table to see what order do you go in and what does that mean for you playing your card out into one of those 4 columns in the center of the table. It's great. There's just so much fun, so much excitement, really, really fast games, because with 10 rounds, take 5 is not going to take all that long. With No Thanks, I don't know how much time they say up here, but these are 20, 30-minute games. They are so, so fast. So these are 2 staple card games that I have in my collection that I take with me on trips, I take with me to work functions, I take with me anywhere because they are, again, so fun and so shareable. So I've got them for you. This one, sealed, ready to send back to you wherever you are. This one, No Thanks, again, shrink wrapped, brand new copy. I am giving these to you. So if you don't have these games, if they sound fun to you, if they sound like they would just be a perfect addition to your game collection, please, here's how you enter for this giveaway. It's free. I'm going to mail them to you. And I want you to essentially write down in the comments below, what about these games sounds fun? What about them have you heard about maybe? Maybe you haven't heard about No Thanks or Take 5. But just write something that you are excited about or interested in playing with these games. And then I'm going to put every entry, one person, one entry. I'm going to put that into my random generator selection. And then I will notify them on my YouTube blog comments. So I will announce this a week after the video goes up. I will give everyone 1 week to get that submission in. Tell your friends, tell your family. Get that in the comments below, and then I will announce it there. This is for just contiguous United States. I have to ship it in the States just to keep my shipping costs down low, because this is just me sending these games out to you because I think you need to have these games. Again, I've got my copies, so I want to share the love. So that's it. That's what you have to do. And just for fun, I'm going to throw in yet another game for free. If you have not had a chance to play Bonanza, Uwe Rosenberg's classic game, again, nice little shrinked copy for you. This is going to be thrown in with all of these games, so you are going to get all 3 copies of these for your free entry into this giveaway. I will see you next time, folks.
Here at Noble Knight Games, we've been carefully growing the world's largest selection of board games, role-playing games and dice, war games, miniatures and paints, card games, and more, going on 25 years now. Our rustic castle contains more game and hobby goodness than you can shake a stick at, complete with careful packaging and the finest customer service the land can provide. You can buy, sell, trade from anywhere in the world, just like nature intended. Noble Knight Games.